Hi, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of Litter Media Live. I'm your host, Mike Smith. Our interview today is going to be with William Mahaffey and Sean Cawood of Scioto Paint Valley Mental Health Center, speaking specifically today about the Rulon Recovery Center. Our interview today brought to you by Litter Quality Propane. Over 100 years of serving propane users in southern and central Ohio. Reliable supply, reliable service, reliable people. Litter Quality Propane. We had William with us, about a month or so ago, where we were talking about Mental Health Awareness Month, for the men especially, but we wanted to have you guys back to talk specifically about the Rulon Center. Sean Cawood, a longtime buddy of mine, used to call his football games many years ago at Paint Valley. Punter of the year, right, in the SVC?
Yep.
43-yard average, did I get that right?
Yeah.
I don't want anybody to ever forget his greatness, but Sean's been a trusted friend in recent years. And, of course, William, his family, Dan, Ramey, and I have known them. Golly, you were probably just a little toddler running around. Yeah, but good to have you with us. Rulon Center, William, it's been around now since 2019, is that right?
Absolutely. We're in our 6th year now. We had our 5-year celebration last year. We had an open house, and it went really well, and it's named after one of our long-term board trustees who just retired earlier this year after 40-plus years. Mm-hmm. So, this is something is a lot of people, still don't know about it. A lot of people don't even know the location. I mean, we were just talking about the location up where the old Craft Mall used to be. So it's a vital program with an all-male mental health, and because we do both. We really do mental health, and we like and love to see that substance use population there.
Yeah, something we were just chatting about before we came on the air, kind of like the chicken and the egg. Did substance abuse come as a result of mental health issues or vice versa? And I guess the debate's still on about that.
Oh, yeah, and the thing is the studies are still mixed, and you're going to see continued mixed studies because now you're dealing with generations of substance use, and when it comes to the opioid epidemic, which we were hit very hard in the Appalachian region. Finally, over the last 2 years, we've seen some reduced rates of overdose deaths, but now it's kind of jumped around a lot with the fentanyl rates and everything. And when you see the long-term prognosis for a lot of people experiencing substance use disorders, whether it be alcoholism or whether cocaine addiction, heroin addiction, a lot of different types of addictions, even once they were recovered from that addiction, it's a lifetime worth of fighting for that sobriety, because even when you think you're recovered, you're still dealing with the aftermath, whether it be anxiety, depression, or a range of other mental health disorders. And whether it be the first thing that triggers the addiction, whether you're just really down and you really need an outlet, so you just go out, party with your friends, go out to the bar, start drinking, whether it's that gateway, wherever you might find it, either it's mental health or substance use, but in my opinion, it frequently touches both.
Yeah. Sean, of course, your story has been made known all around the area, all over the Scioto Valley, and of course, we don't have a whole lot of time, but just briefly kind of give us your story and how you got involved with Scioto Paint Valley Mental Health.
Okay, so I struggled with active addiction for a little over 22 years. Being homelessness, incarceration, and probation, and basically, in 2018, I was in jail, and my middle son was in foster care. My oldest son didn't even know I was his dad at the time, and my little girls were just, toddlers, so they didn't even know who I was. And a lady asked me a question one day when I was in jail, and she said, Sean, would you die for your kids? And I said yes, and she challenged my distorted thought process. It was the first time in my life I'd ever thought differently, and she said, how could you say you'll die for someone you won't even live for? And from that moment on, I knew change was coming. I didn't know what it looked like, but I ended up going to treatment, and I was working at Jiffy Lube, and I had a friend of mine at the time, Ray Lett, who was working at the Rulon at the time, and it was January out, and it was like 20 degrees, and I'm freezing outside, and I was almost getting ready to throw in the towel, and because, in the 20 years I had spent in active addiction, work was obsolete for me. I didn't really hold employment. And he called me up, and he was like, hey, the Rulon's hiring. And so I went and put my application in there. That was in January of 2020, and I had my interview, and they hired me, and I've been there ever since. I was at Pickaway for a little while, for a couple of years, but now I'm back at the Rulon as a residential operations coordinator, and I cut my teeth there, in the field. It's kind of sentimental to me, and just love working there.
Of course, both you guys can weigh in on this. We remind people always that Scioto Paint Valley Mental Health, that covers multiple counties in our region, even though, the main office is in Chillicothe. There are county offices, William, is that right?
Yep, up there in Pickaway County, Pike County, Ross County, Highland, and Fayette. And we've served the community, some communities closer to 40 years, but Ross County, we've been here for about 60 years now.
So about Rulon, so this is about year 6 now since it's opened up. You gave just kind of a brief outline a little bit earlier, but we kind of hinted that it's kind of the best kept secret in recovery, but we don't want it to be a secret. We want people to know about it. So if someone that's watching says, hey, I'm in addiction, I need help, or I have a family member that needs that kind of help, what do they do?
Now, as Sean mentioned in his own personal story, who is going to be that agent to change? Right now, we're talking as ourselves as that agent to change. Normalize asking for help. Who in the world are we supposed to go to? Whether it be Google sometimes, unfortunately, or just calling out, reaching out. Whether you're actually calling the Scioto Paint Valley Mental Health Center, we are providing all the resources. You can, if you had a poor experience with us before, and again, we are changing people all the time, so making sure we're giving the best quality as we can. There are other facilities out there, whether you have the Recovery Council, PARS. We do our best in the community to work alongside a lot of people when it comes to recovery, but directly over at the Rulon Center, we have direct contacts. And Sean, I'd like to discuss a little bit about those contacts because we did just have a changeover starting today.
Sure. Jamie Green is taking over today as the new director, and she has great relationships with people in the community. And something that Rulon specifically has been working on here in Ross County is we have been working diligently to have these relationships with the community members. And I know that over the last several months, we've worked really great with the Honorable Judge Washburn, Probation Officer Michelle Gilman, and Probation Officer Cheyenne Reinhart. And we work collaboratively together to help folks get into treatment. And a lot of times he was talking about that agent for change, meeting the client where they're at. We also have a grant where we're able to go to the jail. And we meet them there a lot of times. A lot of times it's, people just not knowing about it, but we have people in the community that work together to find that point of contact, because the window for someone who struggles with substance abuse or mental health is a very small window when they have that motivation to want to change. So we want to meet them right then and there and help them find the help that they need and the resources they need to get to a place like Rulon to be able to start working on their personal recovery.
And directly speaking on that as well, that agent of change, whether it be the jail, whether it be the PO, whether it be the direct court administrator, whether it be the judge. We also meet with the sheriffs of each county the best we can to make sure we're meeting their needs as well. I just met with the Highland County Sheriff last week. He's still pretty fresh and new with everything in relation to the Highland County Jail and their needs, but he has a long history of working there previously. Yeah. And so we have a great relationship as well with George Lavender here, because we pretty much already have a worker in their jail. And a lot of times I feel like in our community we are way too reactive. So therefore, when we're trying to be preventative when it comes to our care, sometimes, the best preventative you can do is actually seeing people in the jail right then where they are and recognizing that is where the need is, because at times on the street, sometimes we're a little bit too late, and that's very unfortunate.
I know all of us who drive through our area, we see people walking the streets each day that are struggling. But we want you to know that there are success stories out there. And one that just pops into my mind right now, and Sean knows of, we won't mention a name, but there was a young man that his family called me. I called Sean. You got him in at Rulon. Right now, he is thriving. He is leading a victorious life. We're getting together later this week for lunch. And it's neat to see those success stories. So we want people out there to know that it's not always hopeless. Sure. If you can get into a program and get sober and then find counseling that goes along with all of that, there is a way out of that terrible, terrible malaise that they're in.
Absolutely. And it's not just the big changes. A lot of times it's that small call that initiates everything. It is that small meeting of the counselor for the first time, meeting of the person in your life, whether it be you, Mike, or whether it be you, Sean, meeting that person for the first time to be that agent of change to make sure, where am I going to lead my life? And is it time to make that official change? Once you hit that yes, you will see that change. And as either a family member, a friend, a neighbor, or even a community member, once you see that change and see the Seans in the world being able to impact the greater community, it is worthwhile. All the work we do, it's worthwhile.
Yeah. Now, there are a number of activities that are coming up here in our, we got papers laid all the way across the table, and write these down or go back and rewind this so you can find out. William, and we'll finish out with Sean on some of the activities coming up.
Oh, yeah. So, and if anyone has trouble finding some of those, our, Paint Valley AdamH board does a really good job of sponsoring and posting a lot of these and sharing a lot of these events coming up. We have one coming up here this Thursday, and then Pike County Port Team, which is the post-overdose response team, is helping sponsor this in memoriam for a community tribute to lives lost to overdose. That is this Thursday, August 14th from 12 to 2. Then after a few more weeks, we have two events coming up on the same day. One in Hillsborough and Highland County. This is again for International Overdose Awareness Day. This is on August 28th. That's going to be from 7 to 8 p.m. over there, 100 Governor Trimble Place. And that'll be over there at the courthouse lawn, and that's effectively the Hope for Highland event. We then have another Overdose Awareness Day event, Light the Way. That is again August 28th, and this one is in Ted Lewis Park up in Circleville. So our, Pickaway County people get to experience a lot of joy, because this is something that we are also partly sponsored with. So this is something that you might see Sean, you might see Matt hanging out and doing some speeches as well. So we love this event here as well.
And Sean, you've got one I think we promoted on the show the other day, but
yes,
hit it again.
It's Hope Fest 2025. It's on August the 30th, 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. at the Octangy Park. Waves of Recovery, Ride the Wave. We will certainly be there, to be a resource available to those who might need it, and be honored to be there.
And to close, William, a contact number or a web address where people can call to try to maybe get into Rulon Center or get some help of other kind through Scioto Paint Valley Mental Health.
We have multiple contact numbers. If you even forget everything, and this is why I said during Men's Mental Health Month, if you forget anything, just remember 988. For our 5 counties, along with 3 additional counties, we cover that 988 line under our crisis line, and they know how to reach us. So we also have our main crisis line, which is 740-773-HELP, so 4357. We also have our main line down there at the Martha Cultural Clinic, so in the Chillicothe Clinic right next door. That's 740-775-1260.
Yeah.
And
Rulon's number is 740-672-2401.
Yep.
And that's spelled R-U-L-O-N, Rulon.
Yep. And the website's Scioto Paint Valley Mental Health Center, so it's spvmhc.org. Make it simple.
A lot of information for you to digest there, but hopefully it will be something of a great help for you or for someone that you care about. Our guest today, William Mahaffey, also Sean Cawood of Scioto Paint Valley Mental Health Center's Rulon Recovery Center. Our interview today presented by Litter Quality Propane. I'm Mike Smith.